Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa Ascoli, the inventress. My business is Inventing A to Z. At Inventing A to Z, I work with clients to take their products from concept to fruition, from a napkin idea all the way to the marketplace and everything in between, the right way. If you want to contact me, email me, lisa@inventingatoz.com. My website, inventingatoz.com. Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Ascoli, the inventress. Welcome to my podcast. Hi, everybody. This is Lisa Ascoli, the inventress. Welcome to the Inventress Podcast. Today, I'm extremely stoked because I have one of my very best friends, entrepreneur, sister, you name it, CEO and founder of her own business, my mentor. Oh my gosh, Meg, you're so many things. I can't even say your name yet.
Well, I can't even say I'm really your mentor because I look at you as my mentor.
Oh my gosh.
You know, for really moving ahead with more of the entrepreneurial spirit.
Okay, so let me get to who you are. So I have on Maggie Linton. Maggie Linton is CEO and founder of Linton Media and Finance. She also she sells life insurance and does so many things. Just a whole host of things. And Maggie, girl, I can't keep up with you. Welcome, my sweet sister.
That's the way I feel about you.
Welcome, my sweet sister, Maggie Linton.
Thank you very much, Lisa. It's great to be on with you again. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a very, very long time, and I'm such a fan of yours in so many ways, Maggie. You have been my mentor, and yes, you say I'm yours, but I so love, admire, and respect everything you do. And before we even jump out and get started, I have to tell you, I mean, you have been such a wonderful part, a big part of my career in so many ways. I mean, you were on radio and I was on your show at least once a month. And I have to say that out loud, how appreciative and how grateful I am to you to have made that a part of my life and my career. So thank you, Maggie Linton, my girl, for that.
Well, I have to tell you, Lisa, I wouldn't have had you on if you didn't have something to say. And also,
yes,
we're cut from the same cloth in fact that we know that it's not about us being out here. It is to also lift other people up.
Amen.
Like you said, with two hands and sometimes with 2 feet. So we've got to do what we can. And those people who think they're out here doing it by themselves, I want to say, look around and see that you did not do it by yourself. You had teachers, you had parents, hopefully, who, really gave you a good push. And there are so many other people who helped open the door for you.
Yes.
And nobody does it by themselves.
Never.
It's a way to say thank you to them and to you is by being a success. My parents used to always say, being black and a woman is not a reason for failure. It's a reason for success. And that always rings in my head.
Amen. You know my sister, Andrea. We literally talked about this yesterday. And I said to my sister, I said, Andrea, I'm so proud of you for everything that you do. My sister has been with Frost Bank out in San Antonio, Texas for so many years. I want to say 35 years. And she's just climbed that corporate ladder. She is in the news all the time. She's in newspapers, and she doesn't talk about it. And I said, Andrea, you know what? You are a person to be reckoned with in so many ways, not just because you're my sister, but you're a beautiful black woman who has done so much for so many people, from church to the corporation she works for, and just so proud of her, like you said, Maggie, being a black woman in a leadership position. And that doesn't come...
And remaining humble, too.
And remaining humble,
she's
yes.
She's not out there banging her drum or talking about I'm all that plus a bag of chips. She is very, very humble. And I mean, seriously, she's just a lovely woman.
She is. My sister's amazing. She's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But Maggie, let's talk about you, girl. Linton
Mm-hmm.
Media and Finance. Come on, let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, I've been in broadcasting for 48 years. Actually, in January, it'll be 49 years. So I've actually rounded the corner from that, 48 and a half years. And worked in radio, television, film. Was on the series Homicide: Life on the Street for the final 3 seasons. I was a squad room secretary.
You go.
And I did 2 films. The original Hairspray, I played one of the Trinklets. I was in Garden Test with a walk-on role. Very brief. I played Nicolas Cage's boss's secretary, Joan. Because I can't remember the guy who else I was in the scenes with. So, I've done a lot of stuff like that, and it's been fun.
That's beautiful.
And married to the same man for 36 years. But as far as career goes,
what a blessing.
A couple of highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a couple of highlights was my final 3.5 years out of almost 17 at Sirius XM was doing my own daily talk show that was nationally heard.
Yes.
And I absolutely loved it. And I did what, I'd have an entrepreneur's week, especially leading into Thanksgiving when people were starting to buy. And same again going toward Christmas. And I used to have fun with it. I had, numerologist and a psychic on about once a month. And but I also believed in pushing education and finance especially finance, because we are great, and I say we in particular, blacks and minorities are great spenders, but we're not as good at savings as we should be.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that I felt was so important to at least inspire people. You can only teach if they're listening.
Yes.
They can
Good.
hear you,
Absolute.
but they've
Great
gotta
point. Great point, Maggie. And, that's actually going to be a part of one of my boot camps, because I do the consulting and all that, and I teach people on a day-to-day, and I give them a checklist. And at the end of how much time goes by, and I say, well, you didn't do this part. Well, they say, well, you never told me that. And I go, you probably weren't listening. Nicer than that, I say it. But it is. Listening is everything, Maggie.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple just the other day, and his truck, he lost in an accident, and it was not his fault, so he, got a little bit of a payoff, that kind of thing. But he was saying he was out looking for a new truck, and he says, they're going to have, I don't want an $800 to $1,000 payment. And the first thing in my mind is, you must not have good credit. Because it's not like you're going out and buying a tractor trailer. You're buying a truck.
Yes.
And just even knowing approximately how much they cost and all the sales things that are going on right now. And I thought, you've got to get your credit together too, folks. That's another part of being financially secure and financially stable.
Yes. So can you give us some pointers, Maggie? You're talking about credits, having good credit. So what are the pointers you can give the listeners about being able to purchase, whether it's real estate or a vehicle or whatever it is, or start a business? What are the things that these people go ahead. You go ahead, Maggie.
I'm going to go back to the first thing my parents taught me is pay yourself first.
Okay.
And people say, I don't know, I got student loans, I got this kind of the other. Pay yourself first. That's how you start building. If you can become part of an investment club. That's where I learned so much about investing. There were about 12 of us that got together, and we paid $25 a month and pooled our assets together, and we would have financial advisors come in and talk to us about investing. And if you can't find that, start it yourself. Start with $25 or $50 a month. Put it in an interest-bearing account, and don't touch it. But should you need it, it's there for you. But as soon as you can, replace whatever you've done. But that's how I did it. If your company has an IRA or a 401k, then invest in that. If you're not, then you're not giving away free money. You're giving away free money, because most of them match match it. It's a little bit of jeopardy right now, but still most companies do that. Also, if your company has a stock buying program, invest in that. Because you usually get some kind of deals or interest or something like that. And, if a company splits, Lord, you would just be so happy about that.
Yes, indeed.
But, or if your company is bought by somebody, like I had invested in XM when I first started working there. I was there the day they turned on the first switch. And almost from the beginning, I started investing. Well, when Sirius came in and took us over, for every share of stock that I had, I got an additional, I think it was 4.5 shares of stock.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
so, that's an easy growth thing. They're simple things, but they're kinds of things that a lot of people do not do.
No,
And,
they don't, because they don't know. They don't have the voice of Maggie Linton.
Exactly.
It's really true. If you don't know
And
how to
those are
do
the
it, where do you
ways that
start?
Right. Those are the ways that you can really get started. But the easiest way is don't even touch the money to go take it to a savings account. Begin with having it taken out of your paycheck and have it transferred immediately. And if you get a raise, then raise your savings too.
Good for you. That's very
Because
smart.
you're already living on what you make.
That's it.
So why do you need to go out and start spending?
I love it. So, Maggie, I have to ask you a
It's the
question.
simple thing.
I have to ask you a question. You said the first thing is pay yourself. How much do you pay yourself?
Well, whatever's comfortable for you. I can remember, Lisa, when I first started out, it was like $25 a paycheck, which made it $50 a month. But $50 a month is $600 a year.
Yes.
And that can be the difference between you and poverty.
That's right.
If you get up to $100 a month, which is $50 out of each paycheck, that's $1,200 a year. And then there's what is known as kind of dollar cost averaging. Basically, if you have a percentage that is your bank is paying you. I try and stay away from banks. There are other ways to save money. Credit unions and things like that usually have a little bit higher interest nowadays. But that's, again, giving yourself free money.
Can you please explain what that is? So,
whatever.
Can you please explain dollar cost averaging? Can you explain what that means?
Dollar cost averaging is your money just sitting there and drawing interest. And like that $1,200 or $1,200 can easily become $1,500. If you make an additional $300 a year without you adding anything, but just from the interest that is being paid.
What banks do this?
That's how you make.
But what banks do this, Mike? There's not a lot of interest being paid on anybody's money these days. So how do we?
Not in banks, but there usually is within credit unions.
Okay, so how would you get to be a part of a credit union?
Credit unions are usually a little bit higher. They're not at most of them right now are running anywhere from 2 to 4%.
Okay, so what credit union? So what if I just go find a credit union and put money in?
Yeah, you can. You want me to tell you something?
Yeah, please.
Google. Because Google gives you a whole list of what you qualify for. If you're any type of military, then there's a Navy credit union. There's different types of military credit unions, that kind of thing.
Okay.
USAA, we hear about them as insurance, but they're also a way for you to save. And with that, again, have the money taken out all the time. And I have to tell you, I just started doing it. Now, I've been doing stocks and things like that for a long time. But Charles Schwab and I think also Fidelity have started a new deal where literally you can start doing stocks for $5.
That's beautiful to know.
Now, Charles Schwab, that's the company I went with, and I'll put out their name because I'm very pleased with them, has started something that they call stock slices. Okay. And you can buy a slice of, Apple right now is, just split, which I'm really thrilled about. Just split.
I'm coming over for a lobster dinner, Maggie. I'm coming over for a lobster dinner.
Okay. Well, Charles Schwab, Apple was running at about $500 a share. Okay?
500, yep.
And they did a 4-for-1 split.
Wow.
So they went down to about $100 and some dollars. Well, they've already gone back up. They're up to about $112 a share now. If you want to go and buy Apple, you can go and buy that. But with Schwab, what I did is I watched CNBC, which is, a regular just channel that gives you information about stocks and stuff. And I put 10 stocks. 10 stocks included Google, which is known as, its parent company is Alphabet. And theirs is was $3,000 and some dollars a share. Well, I don't have that kind of money, okay? But I can buy a slice of that for $5.
Love it.
I bought a slice of Apple. I bought a slice of Zoom, which continues to go crazy. I bought a slice of Facebook, Microsoft. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Go in, buy a slice of anything that you want.
At $5 a share. At $5. At $5. Okay.
And do you understand what happened with Apple? Because I bought it before it split. So my $5 a share then went up because now it's a 4-to-1 split. I got more Apple.
Oh, good for you. That's smart.
Okay.
So,
so I highly recommend if people are even thinking about it. You can literally get in for $5. If $5 is all you want to spend, then you can do that. But think about doing 25 or 50. I took, my 50, took 10 different companies. I researched them. I listened to what was going on, and that's how I chose. But now $50 a month is going into that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Without a blink.
So, Maggie, can we reach out to you and get this information? Are you providing a service? Really? You're laughing, but this is some great information. I can't write fast enough. Are you providing this service where people can reach out to you and ask you for your help, or is this something?
I have to tell you, the best way to do it is not call me, but go to charlesschwab.com.
Well,
you can get on the phone with somebody and they will walk you through. If you're not computer savvy or anything like that, they will walk you through for everything. But whatever you do, this is another caution, is never take the dividends. For anything that you invest in, reinvest that.
Okay. So never take the dividends.
Always have that reinvested because, again, you're paying yourself.
Right. So never take the dividends.
Sounds like something simple, but I listen to people all the time. Oh yeah, and we got this from our dividends. Well, and this is just fact. I'm not bragging or anything. We made because of our investments, we made over $7,000 in dividends our last quarter.
That's incredible, and you just put it back in.
Yeah, you just always you put your money back in unless you absolutely, and I mean have to have it. Always reinvest your dividends.
Okay.
And it's as you do your slices on Charles Schwab, it asks you, what do you want to do with your dividends?
Love it.
Because every company I chose does dividends.
So now the next question I have is, so the dividends, and how often do these dividends come back? So if I put in...
Well, usually they're different companies, different amounts. Different companies choose whether they're going to do it quarterly. That's what many of them do. Every half year or once a year. But more often than not, it is quarterly.
Okay. So now if you take your dividends, or do you get, are there penalties?
No.
There are no penalties. Okay.
No, except you're going to have to pay tax on the money that you took.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So you're paying tax on the dividends.
Most of the time, the dividends are not, except for some of these major companies, it's not a whole lot. Sometimes it's, $3 or $4 a share or $5 a share or something like that. But if you've got multiple shares, then it starts being a lot of money. But it's still, that's $5 that could be going back into investing. That can go back into your pot of paying yourself first.
So that's a good pointer. So Charles Schwab, we need to 100% do that. I'm going to do that when I hang up from you for sure after our meeting, our podcast. I'm definitely going to do that. I
Yeah.
need, and so many
And it's
people out
easy,
there,
Lisa.
Maggie.
And what they do,
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you what they do to
Yes,
make
please.
sure that you've got all your figure stuff. They will go in and they'll take money out of your account and then ask you to verify how much was taken. Well, with mine, they took 10 cents and then 2 cents,
Mm-hmm.
and then they put it right back in. But I had to verify that it was done. So it's not like when I say they take your money, they don't take. I mean, they literally take pennies.
They test
Okay?
it. They test
Just
to make sure it's
verify
working.
that the account is correct, that you've done the proper routing and things like that.
Oh, that's great. Because nobody trusts anybody these
Okay.
days, as we
I know.
as we should not.
Exactly. Exactly.
as-
And one other thing I
Mhm,
really
sure.
want to say is, people say, "Well, I don't know anything about this." Learn.
Yes.
That's what we're out here for. The more education you have, then that's something no one can ever take away from you. But I have to recommend one magazine in particular, and that is Kiplinger's Money Magazine.
Okay.
It's $12 a year, and they cover the world of finance in plain English.
I was just going to ask you.
And they treat people with respect in the fact that they act like the average person. Is, if you've got $100 to invest, where should you put it? If you got, $1,000 to invest, where should you put it? Unlike Money Magazine or some of the others, or Forbes magazine,
Mm-hmm.
not everybody has $10,000 or $20,000 to
Mm-hmm.
invest.
Right.
Don't insult me because I may not have that much money, but it doesn't mean I won't one day.
Yes.
And so the thing that's so great about Kiplinger's is that it breaks it down.
Mm-hmm.
Once a year, they look at every stock. They look at the money markets. They look at so many other different ways for you to invest. And also, if you're getting ready to buy a car, where you should look. They
Mm-hmm.
just are a great magazine for $12 a year.
And you do that
then
online,
it's just left
Maggie?
up to you to read it.
Do they ship it to you, or is it?
I get the magazine.
You get the
because I mark
physical.
stuff, and I don't want
Okay.
to have to use I don't want to have to go onto a computer to read what I need to know about investing.
I love it. So that's Kipling. So I'm sure it's a .com. So KiplingersMagazine.com to order or subscribe.
Kiplinger's Money Magazine.
Okay, good. I'm doing that too. I'm following and listening to all of your advice. And, I have to tell you, the reason why I'm asking, I think all of the listeners want to know about the dividends is because, I have a lot of inventors out there who are investing in their new projects, et cetera. And, it's expensive to do it. It's expensive. So
Right.
if you
Right.
have investments like you're talking about, and you have dividends coming through quarterly, instead of refinancing your home, et cetera, maybe this is something that you want to look into, so you're not
Right.
really dipping into. So use the dividends from the savings that you're not even noticing that you're saving monthly or whatever it is, weekly. You don't even realize that you're saving it.
It's never weekly. Most of the time, the dividends are paid quarterly, half year, or yearly.
No, I'm talking about the money that they've invested in order to
the money
get
that you
these
invest, yeah.
dividends. So you're investing money in yourself every week or every
That's
2
right.
weeks or every month.
That's right.
And then you're
Yeah.
getting these quarterly dividends on this money that you're not even realizing that you set aside.
Right.
And
Right.
it's a beautiful thing. I have Acorn. I don't know if you've heard of that. Okay, so I have Acorn, and every time I use my credit card, there's money set aside.
Right.
I don't even realize. I don't notice it.
You're
It's so
paying yourself.
small.
Yeah.
It's so small that I don't even realize I'm paying myself or giving myself a savings.
Right.
And it's an amazing thing. Like, we spend so much money daily on whether coffee or groceries or all of the things that. And I'm really noticing like how much money I spend on fruit and vegetables, and sometimes they go bad, and I start counting the cost of my 5 green peppers that have gone bad in the refrigerator, and it's not cheap. So anyway, it's important to also watch your spending and put your dollars where it's going to count, right?
Right. Yeah, and some banks, like my bank offers, as I use my debit card, after I get to a certain point, it's money transfers over into my savings too.
That I
Ask
love.
your bank if they do that. I bank at Wells Fargo, but I know there are other banks that also offer it.
Yes, that they
And,
take out.
Again, it's a service you have to ask for. Be smart about your money because we work hard for it.
And
it's like a little gift to yourself. Boom, boom, boom. And then one other thing, Lisa, and I have to say it since I'm a licensed life insurance broker.
yes, please.
Get yourself protected. And it's easy to do. It's not hard. It's an investment in yourself, and it can also be an amazing savings plan. There are many different vehicles out there. Some even with, you put your money down and you get a 10% bonus right off the top. And with one of the companies I work with, not everybody's going to qualify for that, but those that do, it's just a wonderful way to start out ahead right from the very beginning. And then you can choose whether it's going to be a one-time payment, a yearly payment, a monthly payment. However you decide, we will work with you to find you the right vehicle that protects your family, your home, and everything. And, there are no penalties for taking your money, especially if you're under 59 and a half.
Wow, that was my next question.
If you're over 59 and a half.
So that was a question, Maggie.
There are some penalties.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. That was a question I had for you because, how do you trust? Who do you trust? I've heard some horror stories about people getting life insurance, and they're thinking that, once somebody passes away, all of this money has been invested and they're getting X amount of dollars after the death of their spouse or whatever, and it doesn't exist, nor does the savings. How do you trust and who do you trust?
Well, you number one, insurance has changed dramatically since those days. But you make sure that it is a reputable company. All the companies I've worked with have pretty much been in business for well over 100 years. And they have updated what they do. Like if somebody gets terminally ill, they can use their money. They don't have to wait till they're a certain age. And way too often, the old policies were, whole life, and they say, and when you look down at whole life, and it's like, oh my God, I still have no money because I got to wait till I'm 80-some years old.
Yes.
And then if I take it, I get penalized. There's all kinds of things that have changed dramatically. You can also get into the type of insurance where you're a guaranteed rate. You pay like a 1% fee per year, and you're guaranteed 5, 6, or 7%, or sometimes more.
So now you're selling insurance. You're selling life insurance also.
Yes, I am.
So I'd like to know how we can get in touch with you. For you to, right? Can you do this for us?
Of course I can.
Can you shout that out, please,
Of
Maggie?
course
How
I
do we
can.
get in touch with you for our life insurance?
Well, they can always call me.
Okay.
And I'll give you my cell number.
Please.
Which is 301-346-0171. And I'll repeat that, 301-346 0171. I said, like, what did I say?
Yeah. So I love it. I love that, Maggie.
Yeah. And then you can also write me through my email, my company email, which is Maggie.Linton at FFSmail.com.
So that's F as in Frank, S as in Sam, mail.com?
No, it's 2 F's back to back.
FF, Frank.
First Financial Security.
Okay, so
it's FFS.com.
Got it. FFS.com, firstfinancialsecurities.com. And so
Right.
this is so awesome to hear from you, Maggie, because so many people, all of the information you're giving is so important to the people who don't know. So many people do
Oh, yeah.
not know about, number one, how to save money, how to get life
And
insurance.
Right. I gave the wrong email address because it's just Maggie Linton. I'm so used to a dot being in there, which was my old email.
Uh-huh.
But it's just Maggie and Maggie Linton, LINTON at ffsmail.com.
Okay, perfect. So remove that
Okay.
dot, everybody. So the dot doesn't belong.
Remove that dot. Yeah.
So that's First Financial Securities.
I just and I can work all over the country, and but if somebody's even looking for a part-time job, this is a great time to look at it. This is National Insurance Month, and again, I tell people, don't be afraid to learn, because this is something that's protecting you and your future. And there's one book I really want to recommend, and it's by my friend John Hope Bryant, and it is called The Memo.
The Memo. And you have mentioned him many times. Okay, The Memo.
He's got a big thing coming up online, and let's see, Deepak Chopra is going to be on it.
Nice.
And a number of other business leaders. The president of and CEO of Delta Airlines. He always has Ambassador Andrew Young on, because he's an old sage whom I really love, and an amazing man. One of the smartest men I've ever met in my life.
Oh my gosh.
And so low key about it. But John's book, The Memo, is a wake up call.
Yes, it is. Wow.
About how, again, to become financially responsible, and how we can't sit around and wait for the 40 acres and a mule, because that ain't coming. That ain't coming, Lisa. So we have to
I can't just sit here and wait for it. I just can't sit here and wait for the 40 acres and a mule. Not going to happen.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
I got to learn and listen. I have to listen, learn. Well, I have to ask, listen, and learn, right? Ask, listen, and learn.
Yep.
So
never be afraid to ask.
Amen. Amen. That's been my Motivational Monday. Every Monday, guys, every Monday on Motivational Monday, we've been talking about asking, and you'd be surprised at how much you receive when you ask. A-S-K. Right? So ask.
Right.
And you will be receive. Seek and you'll find. And knock and the door shall be open to you. So that's right?
Yeah.
Matthew 7:7 everywhere. Yep, we're going to church. Matthew 7:7. So yes, Maggie, and I've asked for you to be on my show, and I am so thrilled you are here. Woohoo! I can give back to you because you've given me so much with just giving me a voice to speak on your radio, Sirius XM radio, for how long, how many years, just to be a part of that. Years and years.
Right.
Years, monthly years. And how many people I've met because of you. I have to tell you, one of my graphic artists, Bill Laddison, I spoke with him yesterday, and he says, I said, how did we meet, Bill? And he says, through Maggie Linton. I gave you part of it, right? I text into my phone, or I spoke into my phone. And it came out very differently from what I was actually texting into my phone. But it led me to call you back and say, hey, Maggie, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing great.
I know you are. So anyway, so the volume of people I've met because of you, I can't even count. You've promoted my business, promoted who I am, promoted the fact that I'm on QVC and I help people to develop products. And you've done so much of that in my life. And I want to just reach back and tell you thank you and lift you up 2 hands at a time And I'll always be willing to use my foot with you if you ever need it. And
And sometimes I need that kick because you were telling me yesterday and you were ready to kick me because I needed to get on with the podcast.
Yes.
And I'm sitting down here in my studio right now, and I started hanging pictures, and then I got busy doing something else, and I go, I've got to come back and really finish it, because feeling comfortable in your space is so important. And I've got some great photos. Some I took myself. I mean, I'm looking over here right now at one with Natalie Woods that I had taken years ago, about 6 months before she passed away. And then I look right at, do you know who Cynthia St. James is?
I don't.
She's a magnificent artist. I know you've seen some of her works. And the last time I was out in California, we've become close friends too. And she's for almost all of the HBCUs, she's doing prints for them. And she gave me one of her original prints.
No way.
From Alabama State University.
Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
I mean, it was already framed and everything. She just took it off the wall. So I look over there and I think of Cynthia every day. And I have a Jonathan Green print, another artist. And, it's just, I'm blessed and I need to just get rolling in my space.
Well, let's go, Maggie. Let's go. And I've seen some of the beautiful artwork that you have in your home, and thank you for having me there. And it's just such a beautiful space and such a wonderful place. And the last time I was at your house, Bob, I think, was just in the beginning stages of framing it out. So it was just being framed out, your studio. I could only imagine what it looks like now.
Well, you'll see pictures. You'll see pictures of my pictures, yeah.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait to see that. And please share those on social media. And certainly share them with me and us, with all of us who are listening to you and love and respect what you're talking about. And the good information. You're giving us such great information, Maggie. You have no idea. Do you
I just believe that people, a lot of what they don't know is because they say they don't know. But where do you go to learn?
Google.
And, people think, well, do I need to go back to school? No, you don't.
Not anymore.
You do not need to go back to school. So much of it is online. So much of it is picking up a book.
Yes.
And reading.
Oh, nothing
and
better.
Learning. And I turn on CNBC sometimes and can listen to it for a couple of hours because they bring on the CEOs of companies who talk about their company products, and things like that, like Frito-Lay and Pepsi and Coca-Cola, other great companies.
Yes.
I mean, with people being home now and snacking going on, honey, these are great ones to go on. Zoom.
Yes.
Zoom has taken over the world.
It
I
has.
can remember when Zoom was like, upper 90s, low 100s, and now it's over $400 a share.
Can you believe it? Why didn't I get in back then? See, I needed you in my head, in my ear, telling me what to purchase. Maggie, we need to have like a line
And
now.
don't
Walkie-talkies.
forget DocuSign.
And what else?
And don't forget DocuSign.
DocuSign. Yes, I used it last night. Yes, of course.
Exactly.
Oh, is it low
Those
right
are
now?
the kind of companies that have changed the way we do business
Yes.
during this pandemic, and they're never going to go away.
I think that you need to be our financial spokesperson, at least monthly, Maggie. You really do. I know it's not your full-time business, but you certainly. It's amazing. The information that you've given us today is beyond anything. Remember when I was on your show and I used to talk about piggy bank? Every segment, and I still do. I still talk about that with my clients. It's an easier way for some of us to save, right? So I'll say, get a white envelope out, and I still do this, and write down like all of your kids' names and things like that for Christmas, just because it's one time a year that I give everybody like a big gift. But you got to start something. You got to start saving because all of a sudden it's Christmas time or Hanukkah or whatever, Kwanzaa, and you're giving these gifts, and you're like, where the heck is this money? Now I'm charging stuff. Do yourself a favor. Put away $10, $15 a week per person, or $10 in total. And before you know it, by the time the holiday season rolls around, you've got money that you don't have to worry about taking out credit cards and putting on your Macy's credit card and having your credit
That's
score
right.
drop because now you're in debt until
Yeah.
you pay the whole thing in
Because
full
you paid yourself first.
because you paid yourself first. And then you take that piggy bank money and then you put that in an account. Right, Maggie? What kind of an account are we going to put that in? An interest-bearing account. It's a credit union.
Interest-bearing account.
Yes.
Check around.
Yes.
I mean, like you were saying, your bank, Acorn, which is an online bank, but there are a number of them out there, and find out what they really offer. Now, I will tell you, if you were taking Kiplinger's, it breaks down the top 10.
I love it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm
So,
doing that. I'm ordering it.
Don't be afraid to learn. It's your money. You work for it. Have it work for you.
This is an somebody should be. You're endorsing so many different companies
Well,
and banks and
That's because
Charles
that's
Schwab.
worked for me, Lisa.
Your face
You know,
needs to
my
be.
dad-
Your face needs to be on a billboard, Maggie. They need Charles Schwab. If you're listening, you need to have Maggie Linton's beautiful face on your billboard. She's an actress. She's a singer. She's a spokesperson. She's on Law and Order. So Maggie Linton, Charles Schwab, guys, you need to endorse. Maggie needs to be endorsing you. Yes, Kiplinger's. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, I mean, and how I found out about Charles Schwab was listening to CNBC, and them and Fidelity started advertising these slices that you could buy of major corporations. And part of the reason why I talked to a guy from Schwab, and he said the reason why they started doing it is they wanted to give the average person the possibility of having more.
Keyword. The average person, the possibility, because most people don't think that they have a chance to make money, have money, save money, because they don't know how. And because it's so far out of what they believe is their reach and their grasp. But it's not. It's not.
Nope.
And
Sure is
you've
not.
broken that down, Maggie. I love it. So I have a couple of questions. I have a couple of questions to ask you, okay? What does you've retired. Girl, you are retired. What does your day-to-day retirement look like for you? Like, how do you live your life? Like, what are you doing?
Okay. I get up every morning,
Uh-huh.
and if I don't take a walk, you know where I live.
Yes.
So it's great to walk around, kind of in close to the woods and, see a few neighbors saying hi, that kind of stuff. I almost always come back home, and that's when I do my reading. And when I say reading, it's usually something inspirational, the Bible,
Yes.
whatever the case may be, to get my day really started in the right direction. And I also pray.
Amen.
People say, "Oh, do you pray?" Well, yeah, every day, all day, and at night too.
I love it.
Because we have to. If you want something better, then there's no reason to not ask for it.
Yeah.
And you have to ask the all-being power. I'm not preaching or anything, but, you got to have belief in something that it will be delivered to you.
Amen. Well,
And
listen, girl, we go to
so I
church.
do
We go
that.
to church on this show. We go to church, and we are.
Yeah.
We're saying
yeah.
it. We're asking. We're putting it out there. Yes.
Exactly. And so, I do that, and then I get up, and a lot of times I get on the computer because I've got stuff to do. I'm constantly updating my knowledge about my insurance because that's something, and, take courses and stuff like that. And so many of the insurance companies offer them for free right online. So just, trying to do that. And then I do my usual running around. Since COVID has hit, I don't need another pair of shoes. I don't need any more clothes. I go to the grocery store. And usually when I do my grocery days, I may hit 5 or 6 different stores because I've already looked up who's got sales on what I need. So I do that. And, then I come home, and I have to tell you, I have a friend that now offers yoga and Pilates
beautiful.
online.
Online.
Go to carlpowell.com. I'll give him a big play.
Oh, wait,
but
so Carl?
He used to actually live Carl, C-A-R-L.
Okay.
Powell.
Powell.
Yes.
Okay, carlpowell.com. Got it.
.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sign up for his classes, and they're very reasonable. I mean, it's like $50 a month or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a yoga mat. You can do it in your own home. He does them live. Now he lives in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got a Zoom link. You can do your exercises with him, and he's 6 days a week.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it's Zoom, so
And
you
there's
feel like
lots
you're
of-
there. So is he on the water?
Right.
Like, what's his backdrop?
No, actually, he and his partner have a home, and he's done this beautiful garden outside of their home, and that's where he does the exercises.
Oh man, so he brings you in, and you feel like you're there. That's
And
the
he has
beauty.
a very soothing voice. He doesn't do real hard yoga. He for years he's taught at a hotel there, and handled their clientele. But he said he used to be much more aggressive in his yoga practices. But what he realized that he had clients were from 8 to 80,
Yes.
and sometimes even older than that. And he needed to be more gentle. So what he gets you to do is to really stretch your body well, but also to breathe. Because so many of us don't really breathe.
I just took a deep breath
We
as
think
you
we
said
are.
that. I just took a deep breath because we don't, and we don't, especially women, we don't breathe. We have to remind ourselves to breathe because we're holding it in all day long. I think until we get to the thing that we need to do, right? Like you need to do this, and then at the end of the day, I think at the end of the day, sometimes we allow ourselves to breathe, right?
Yeah.
So this is a beautiful thing that you're offering us, and you're sharing his website, so that carlpowell.com,
Right.
and I will definitely look him up. Whatever we can use, Maggie, to relieve our crazy
And then I'm a sportsman.
COVID tension. Yes, a sportsman. Yes, let's talk about that.
I'm a KU Jayhawks, which aren't doing much because it's so many colleges. Now the Big 12 is going to be playing, but KU plays so badly anyway, especially in football. Now basketball, we're a whole different thing. But but my Kansas City Chiefs are still doing pretty well.
You know what? I love how much you love sports. I admire and love it. You and I went somewhere, and we went to an event of some sort, and I stayed at your house, your beautiful home, and thank you for that too. In my own suite,
anytime.
in my own suite, with my own bathroom, etc. And I got up in the middle of the night, and you were out there. I heard sports in your living room, or whatever, and you guys are watching. I'm like, what the heck? You both. I think Bob was about horse racing or what? He's
not so much.
horse racing, right? It's you.
No, he doesn't. He thinks fishing is a sport.
So it's just you. It's you.
It's me.
Oh.
And when I first started out my career, I was a sports anchor for the University of Kansas Sports Network.
That's
How
right.
I started my career.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that was a long time ago. Like I said, almost 49 years ago. But it gave me. My dad was a sportsman.
I was just going to say your
when I say
dad.
that,
Yes.
He loved sports, and he would take my sister and I. Grew up right outside of Kansas City, and so the Kansas City. It was then A's. Were in town, so we'd go to baseball, we'd go to football, we'd go to basketball because the team that is the Bulls now used to be in Kansas City.
Oh, yes.
And they had, a B-League hockey team, and, there was car racing, there was wrestling, there was all kinds of stuff. And Kansas City was a big sports town, and, now they also have a soccer. Soccer wasn't that big back then, but it's because of my dad. He didn't have two sons, but, he had two daughters, and he made us love it. It's to the point now where my sister and I will still call each other when there's a good game on and talk about it.
And what an incredible memory that your dad left you with. It's all about making memories with your children, and
It is.
how blessed are you to have had your dad to do that with you and your sister, create this memory. create this
Yeah,
incredible
we did.
memory. I'm sure your popcorn and your ice cream, or even if you didn't have it, you just had this time. You had the time you spent
Well,
together.
back then, when we went to the ballpark, it was usually right after church. And everybody would get to the ballpark and everybody would be dressed. And most of the men would be in suits. We went in our dresses more often than not. And it was an event.
I love that.
It was an event.
There's
And
nothing
we
better,
had a great
Maggie.
time.
Nothing better than that. Gotta make a memory. But yeah,
Exactly.
it's all about making the memory. It really is. And you've been blessed to do that. And the photographs you have in your home show that. All the pictures of your dad and sports and all of you guys together. And again, you're just such a warm and loving person. And it's a reflection of your parents, your dad, your parenting, the people who raised you.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, above the bed that you stayed in is my dad's picture of the first day he opened his barber shop. After he did 30 years in the Army, then he became an entrepreneur, owned his own barber shop, and my mom owned her own beauty shop, and her graduation from the Madam C.J. Walker School of Beauty in Kansas City is hanging right next to his barber shop opening.
That's crazy, Maggie. To be a part of that, to be a part of that history.
Yeah.
That's incredible. It really is. So I have another question for you. So, are you an inventor? You're innovative. You're obviously you are. You're innovative. You're not just you're not specifically an inventor, but you're incredibly innovative, and you're constantly doing new things and recreating your best self all the time. So, do you see yourself as an inventor, Maggie?
Lisa, and remember I've told you a lot of times things run through my mind, and I go, I don't know. and am I willing to work to get this done? And I thought it's easier for me to open my mouth and talk. Maybe one day, that's all I can say is maybe one day,
But you're living the dream.
Coming.
Right now, you're living the dream. Yeah. And if you don't have that yearning passion to do it, then you know what? It's not necessarily something you want to do.
But I try and open the door for other entrepreneurs.
And you do. And you do it every single day.
And that's what, in particular, black entrepreneurs, because a lot of them have products out there that people don't even know. I remember a guy that I worked with, and his daughter, had products, but the main product that she talked about that day was her beard grooming product. And she was ahead of her time.
Isn't
it was as men were starting to get beards, but you didn't hear about, shampoos and combs and brushes and stuff like that. And I put her on, and she wrote me back and she said, "My God, I can't even keep up with the orders."
Yes.
It's
yes.
And Orida O'Shea.
Maria. Yeah. Maria. Oh my gosh, that's right. Maria was on your show.
Exactly. She said she'd never had an explosion like that. That, so many people demanding products. I had another friend on whom I'd known for years, and I didn't even realize that she did shea butter products. And I talked to her just a few weeks ago, and she said people are still ordering from her.
Yes.
When I had her on.
Maggie, you have no idea.
That's what I do.
Yeah, you do open the doors, and people are still contacting me from being on your show, and because I ask everyone, how did you find me? How did we meet, or what? Well, I heard you on Maggie Linton's show, XM radio, Sirius XM radio, and that was like how long ago that was, and they'll tell me give me the segment. And I'm always blown away. But this is what also speaking and asking and saying it out loud and all of this social networking that we have on our platform, on our table, and before us, we need to continue to utilize. And you need to do your podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so let's set a date.
I will.
When am I going to be on your podcast?
Lisa, let me get my pictures hung, okay?
We're doing.
I'll get that
I'm
to
coming
you.
over.
No, I have a feeling it's going to be next month.
Okay, good.
I said that because October is my birthday month.
What's your
So
date?
October 2nd.
Wait a minute. Wait a second. Your birthday is Brittany's wedding date.
Get out of here.
Brittany's getting married October 2nd.
Oh, well, she will be blessed.
And so will you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Does that make you a Libra? Is it Libra or still Virgo?
It does.
Libra. Okay.
I'm such a Libra. Yeah.
Did Libra
I'm
just happen
jump
at
in
that?
both feet. A Libra.
So did Libra just happen? When does Libra actually happen?
It started on the 22nd or 23rd.
22nd, okay.
Whoever you are. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so now everybody
Rolling into it.
so everybody right now is Libra.
Mm-hmm.
So it just happened 3 days ago.
Yeah. I've got two friends whose birthdays are tomorrow. I'm going to, get a hold of both of them. One lives in California, the other one in Mexico.
Oh, isn't that something, honey? You do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 3 questions to ask you, and these questions come from Brittany always. So if you were to write your own movie, and do me a favor, don't say this if you're copywriting, trademarked, if it's not protected, don't say it. And you're going to do it, you plan on doing it, because I just faced this last week in one of my podcasts, because it's very, very easy to have this conversation, right? And you forget other people are listening. So if you were to write your own movie, what would the name of the movie be?
Resilience.
Loving it. Okay, good. So I love it.
But
So
there's no copyright on it. It's that's the way I've kind of lived my life. When you're down, I'm not out. And,
Amen, Maggie. I love it.
It's like you have to be resilient in order to keep moving forward. And we have to. We have to keep moving forward.
And that's a conversation because everybody doesn't have that mindset, Maggie. And if you don't teach yourself, and you do it through prayer, through meditation, and obviously the way you've been raised to do that. I'm sure a lot of your
I'm
aunts
an
and
eternal optimist.
amen. I love it.
People talk about the upcoming election. And I said he's gone. We don't even have to worry about. How do you say that? And plus, my numerologist has told me so.
Okay, so we know it's done. Thank you. So it said, so it shall be written. So it shall be written.
But only if we go vote. And I'm not
that's
going
it.
to go into that a whole lot.
No, but we're going to definitely do that. Okay, so in your movie, Resilience, if you were to choose someone in that we all know in television or movies, who would play you? Who would the best character be to fit Maggie Linton? Who would that person be? And it could be a man, a woman, it doesn't matter. The character, the behavior, who you see your self fitting in Hollywood, or them fitting in you. Yes.
Or playing me as I was at one time.
It could be whatever you want, honey. Anything, anybody you want.
I think it would probably be Gabrielle Union.
Love it. You know what?
And
Perfect, especially based upon the title of the movie.
I have to tell you, I met her, and very briefly, in 2006 when XM was covering the Grammys, and we were out in California and stuff like that. And I looked at her, and there was such a calm about her, but beauty. And I have to tell you, she is probably one of the most beautiful women I have ever seen. I mean, direct. Not on TV, not in the movies, but I actually looked her in the face, and she almost took my breath away.
Wow.
And I've never changed my thoughts about that.
Oh,
There is a glow about her.
I would love for her to hear this podcast.
Since she and Dwayne Wade have gotten together, it's gained even more power and even more strength, and she's not afraid to speak her mind and tell you what she thinks.
She's not, and she doesn't care about who's judging or saying anything. And I think she's perfect for the role. Resilience, because she's been through so much, and she stands up, and she stands beside, and by her man, and he stands by her and their children and everything. And God bless her. And I love your choice. I love it. And love Gabrielle Union. And is she?
I do too.
So you have a great spiritual connection to people. I have to ask you. So when you met her, did you feel it inside and out?
Her presence?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
But without it being pushed on me or anything, she was very gracious to everybody in the media. She smiled. She just kept moving down the line because, the red carpet thing is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But there was just this calm about her that was different from so many other people that were there.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's so awesome to know.
Yeah.
I love that. I definitely, from a distance, I love Gabrielle Union. I've never met her, but from watching her, she's all of the things that you're mentioning. She seems like a beautiful person.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
And then the last question is, if you were to be, Brittany says foxhole or rabbit hole. I won't say that because I say it gives me claustrophobia. So I'll say, if you were to be left on a deserted island with only one person, it cannot be or thing or being. It cannot be your husband, not your significant other. It can't be. There you go. Can't be a partner. Can't be your best friend.
Bob could build anything. He could build us a damn boat. And we'd be out of there.
I know. I tell you, girl. Bob can say, all right, bring Bob. Let's just get the heck out of here. What are you doing here?
So
We don't
it
have to
can't
be stuck.
Bob. Go ahead.
No, so it can't be a significant other.
Uh-huh.
It could be, whomever you want it to be outside of your relatives, your best friend, whatever. We're making this very complicated. But I don't know where Brittany got this question from, but go ahead and answer, Maggie. Anything, anybody. I've gotten the most creative questions answers you could possibly imagine. Make it's sky's not the limit. Anything, anybody, real, not real, cartoon character, anything.
No, it would not be. I'm not going to waste it even on that. You ask me who I'm going to be in a foxhole with. I don't want to be in there with Bugs Bunny or Hell no. Let's see.
Love it.
Wow, that's
I'm
really
not wasting
a
it
tough
on
one.
them. That's so good. Bugs Bunny. I love Bugs Bunny. He brings some carrots with him. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, Lisa. No. This one just has me stumped at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about Michael B. Jordan that fascinates me. Again, someone with a conscious soul. You look at some of the work she's doing right now.
Yes.
And the thing is, he's back there. He's in the background doing things that a lot of people don't even realize that he's done. And so, and then I think, oh, what about my sports guys? That kind of thing. But
can't leave them
I'll
hanging.
take him for right now.
I love that you said Michael B. Jordan. So when I went, it wasn't like, that, why would you choose him? I love your choice. I love how he loves his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And just the respectful person and respectable person he is.
Right.
And I don't know a lot about what he's doing in behind the scenes. And you have me looking up a lot of things. We're getting magazines. We're getting Kiplinger's magazines. We're looking up Michael B. Jordan. We're checking out Carl Powell for his yoga. We're looking up Charles Schwab. You gave us some. You gave us some real work, and we're certainly going to send you an email. So anybody out there listening who wants to reach out to Maggie, Maggie, you're doing your life insurance, and again, could you do that shout out the company that you're working with?
I'm working with First Financial Security.
Mm-hmm.
People can look them up. They're based in Norcross, Georgia. And And if somebody's looking for part-time work, if somebody's thinking about just, having their family insured for a lifetime and leaving a legacy of money instead of debt,
Yes.
this is the way to look at it. There's universal annuities that just continue to grow. There are ways where you pay money in for 5 years. A bank then does the rest of your savings. And at the end of 15 years, it's almost impossible for you to not have millions of dollars.
Yes.
There
Wow.
are just many, and that's just a teaser for people. There are many different ways for people to take control of their lives, and it's green. It's green power.
I love that. I love that.
You look at somebody like Tyler Perry, who lived in his car for a while.
Yes.
And now is a multi-billionaire and owns, property that used to be a plantation. And he is changing the world of media because he can.
Because he can. And Maggie, would you not agree that anybody can have what Tyler Perry has if you persevere, if you're smart, if you read, if you listen to people who are smarter, who can give you information, the same information you're giving and sharing with us. And I'm so grateful for this, Maggie. And, people can reach out to you. The phone number I think you have is 301-346-0171. And you put your email out too. So that's Maggie Linton at FFS, right? At gmail.com.
Like Fred's, like First Financial Security.
That's it.
FFS.mail.com. And mail is
.mail.com.
MAIL. That kind of mail.
Yeah. Ladies, calm down.
English
Calm
language.
down, ladies. It's not what you think. It's not the other mail. It's mail, MAIL. .com. And is there a website, Maggie, or?
Well, there's a website up, but I'm getting ready to get that reconfigured and no.
So good. No, you know what?
It's MaggieLinton.com, but it's old. I mean, there's some important things. I mean, I have one of my interviews that I did with Maya Angelou and a few other people on there. So. Yeah.
You've interviewed.
But it's old and it needs to be redone, and it's going to be redone.
Okay, so you're working on that. You've interviewed so many different people and wonderful people and people everybody listening knows. Certainly Maya Angelou is one of them. And did you ever interview Oprah, or you met Oprah? You talked to her about a few.
Yes, I did years ago. I've told you this, haven't I?
Yes, they don't know.
Oprah and I were each other's competition when I first moved to Baltimore.
Yes, I want you to tell that story.
Oh, okay. Well,
Please.
I got hired to do a talk show. Out of 175 people who applied for the job, I got the job to do a talk show in Baltimore. It was called Baltimore at 10 on Channel 11. And about 3 weeks before I was supposed to move out, they called and they said, would you mind if we team you up with a co-host? And I said, are you going to touch my money? Because, that's always most important. I figured I could work with anybody. And they said, and they said, no, your money remains the same. I said, okay. So they teamed me up with a guy named Harry Martin, and they told me the reason why they were going to do it is because the other channel in town, Channel 13, had started a new talk show called People Are Talking. Now, it was a Westinghouse-based show, and all Westinghouse that owned stations were going to be doing People Are Talking. And the one in Baltimore had Oprah Winfrey and Richard Scher. So when I first moved to Baltimore, Oprah was my competition. So I've known her that long.
Oh, okay. Oprah, if you're listening, this is great.
Yeah.
Absolutely fabulous.
And since then, I've seen her a couple of times. In fact, when she signed on with XM to do her, they gave her a channel. I was there at the signing because, I told our president and CEO, Hugh Panero, and showed him one time all of the talk show hosts were featured on the front of what they called TV Week magazine that came in the local newspaper, and it was me and Harry, Richard and Oprah, and a guy named Bruce Elliott. He was working at Channel 2. We were the three main. They didn't have a whole lot of cable channels and stuff back then, back in 1978. And so, I've known her for that long.
That's incredible. Well, you were
makeup artist was actually Reggie Wells was our first makeup artist.
Isn't that? And isn't he still her makeup artist?
No,
he's not anymore.
He's been her makeup artist since about 5 years before she ended her show. Reggie actually moved back to Baltimore because of the health of his mother.
Okay.
But Reggie and I knew each other so well that his grandmother lived just not too far from where my sister lived, and we'd ride up to New York together.
Isn't that something?
Because I had a car and Reggie didn't have a car, so I'd say, he'd tap me and say, Maggie, are you going up to New York? Oh, yeah, Reg, come on, you need a ride, And
well, between you and Oprah,
huh?
between you and Oprah, I hope he has a car now.
Well, she definitely has a hell of a lot more money than I do and a lot more places to live. No sense in me lying, Because basically our show got canceled after a year. And it was up until I got the job at the talk show at XM. It was my absolute favorite job. And here's the reason why, real brief. Harry turns out to be that guy who was also was anchoring the news at Channel 11 on weekends.
Is that something? Wow.
Literally the weekend that I arrived, the sports guy at Channel 11 hit a security guard. I don't know why they got into a scuffle at Memorial Stadium. That's the place where they used to play, where the Colts and the Orioles used to play.
Sure.
And so they came to me that Monday morning and they said, we had to fire our sports guy. And I was just coming out of St. Louis having worked sports there for a station, KPLR. And so they said, can you do sports for us until we hire somebody else? And I said, well, I'll apply for the sports job. And they go, no. You can't do that. I said, okay. So anyway, and then Harry and I continued to work together for like 7 days a week for almost 2 months. And we finally went to him and said, look, we got to have some time off. We can't work 7 days a week together. Because we were like oil and water, kind of. He didn't know how to have fun. He wore like a three-piece suit to work every day. Okay.
And we know you're all about the fun, Maggie. That's what I love about you.
Yeah, I have fun. He wouldn't drink at 10 o'clock in the morning with the wineries, because Maryland is famous for its wineries. And we'd have a wine person in at least once a week. He goes, well, I don't drink at 10 in the morning. I go, well, I do. Come on. Let's have a good time.
You can hold it down, Maggie.
Yeah.
You can.
So they finally decided that we would be live on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but tape our Thursday and Friday show on Monday afternoons. So basically from Wednesday on, I was free, and I did all the junkets. I flew to California, where I got to meet Natalie Woods and Sally Fields and, so many others.
What a blessing.
Or I'd go to New York, and I'd stay at the Plaza or the Essex House.
So,
wow. Lovingly called the Donny Hathaway Hotel. It was just, I went to Studio 54. Because the guys that were in charge of the Paramount Studios was really big at that point. And the East Coast manager of it was a guy named, and I love his name, Nico Yakubelish. I don't think I'll ever forget that. And Nico's assistant was a guy named James Johnson.
Okay.
And Jimmy and I got along well. And I flew to, every time they'd fly me someplace, I went first class. And, I can remember going to Las Vegas to do interviews for the original North Dallas 40. I said, everybody's bringing their husbands or wives or significant others. Can I bring my mom? And they said, I don't know, Maggie. I said, really, she won't be any bother. and they let me bring my mom. And Jimmy and Nico fell in love with my mom, and I didn't see her half the time I was there. It's like, really? You stole my mom from me?
Oh my gosh.
But that's the kind of, I was blessed.
Do you? I mean, so Maggie, I have to slow you down for a second because this is such a wonderful experience and a walkthrough that we're getting very, very briefly. How did you feel? So your first introduction, because it's always a first. There's always a first introduction to somebody who knocks your socks off that you can't believe you're meeting them. I don't know whether it's Oprah or Nico Jacobellis or whomever that person who made you feel that certain kind of a way. Who was the person who knocked your socks off, and how did you, if you can recreate that feeling and that moment for us, please. This is such a beautiful conversation. We need for you to recreate that feeling. What did that feel like to be there? To me, you've reached. I know you've reached. I mean, I've seen how much you've done, and just so happy that you're in my life and you tell me stories, and I'm able to experience some of the things through your emotions. So can you give us some emotion with respect to one of the people you wanted to meet the most and you met? There you go. That's the question.
One of the people I wanted to meet the most and I met.
And how did it make you feel?
Whew. Well, I'm sitting here looking at the Natalie Wood sign, picture, and I can't. I have found, and I'll say this because I have to say this about her. People who are more often some of the most famous people are some of the least affected by it, and aren't snooty and aren't nasty, and she came in, sat down, she had a cup of tea, we started laughing and talking, and she had gotten back together with Robert Wagner, and I said, I have to tell you, I'm so happy for you. She said, are you really? She said, why are you? And I said, because you have a glow about you that's different than it was before. She said, yeah, I belong with him.
Oh my gosh, Maggie, this is huge.
And I think about meeting Harrison Ford. Again, I worked on a movie, Clear and Present Danger, with him.
Yes.
And I was supposed to play James Earl Jones's wife. But I looked too young. And he and the director, Peter, can't remember what his name is, came to me, and they pulled me off to the side, and they said, listen, you're a really beautiful woman. You really dress nice. But how old are you? I said, I said like 50 or something like that. They go, you don't look 50. You look 35.
Oh, my God.
We started looking at you in the camera. Now, would you mind, this was at a funeral scene at Arlington Cemetery. Would you mind if we let this other lady play? And I said, no, that's fine with me. And they said, really, you don't mind? And I said, no. And I said, she is dressed beautifully. And she's an older woman, and I had seen her around, and I know she didn't get a lot of parts and that kind of stuff because she just wasn't the demographic that did it, okay? And I said, please let her do it. They said, we'll still pay you as a featured extra. And I said, that's fine. I said, but please give her a chance.
How many people would do that?
She's featured in that scene. How many movies have I done?
No, I said, how many people would do that? That is so kind of you. It was so kind of you to do that, Maggie, and just and sincerely do that and give her an opportunity also. This person an opportunity.
Give her an opportunity.
Yes.
To be the featured extra in that. And, they had me kind of behind her, and I played his daughter-in-law. So, in other words, I was still featured, but I didn't say anything. And I was happy for her.
Oh, man.
And they were so nice. And then Harrison kind of, I won't say followed me around, but kind of hung with our group of actors.
That's very cool.
The rest of the day, we had every kind of weather you could have that day. We had sunshine, we had flurries, we had rain, we had, and cold. It was just a crazy day for weather, and he stayed out with all of us the whole time.
Harrison Ford.
He's great.
Ah,
He was so down to earth, so nice. We were all laughing, and he would start asking us what school we went to, and he had stories about almost every university that there was, and he knew all the mascots and everything. And Ann Archer, on the other way, that was during when she was playing, his wife in all those
yes.
movies.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the scene was over, she'd run to the car. She barely would even speak to us. I said, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't want to be with the extras. And earlier in the day, it was warm. She could have easily stayed out. Nope. Wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Would
But
barely
he did.
give us an eye.
But he
But
hung
he
out.
did.
He hung out with you.
Yeah, we were jumping around in a circle when it began to get cold. He'd wrap his arms around us. And,
Oh, my
I
goodness.
mean, I so admired him. And I just, when you hear about his plane crashing and him going out and helping people and things like that.
Yes.
That's who he is.
That's so nice to hear
That's
because
who
you don't know.
he is.
You don't know. And that's why I asked you about Gabrielle Union and, her spirit and her heart, because she appears to be that way, but we don't know. I hope and pray certain people are the way they really appear to be on television and not the roles, but on talk shows. I mean, and I just saw Gabrielle on something, and she's doing her natural hair. But Harrison Ford, I've always loved, and what a gift and a blessing for you to be able to meet these people, Maggie, and to really get to know them and have them touch your heart and yours touch theirs. I know. What a blessing that is.
Yeah.
What a blessing that
Amen.
is, Maggie. You're such a
been fun.
superstar. I'm just glad to know you. I'm just blessed to know you and have you as a friend, and just so blessed. Everybody is freaking out about this show right now. They're going, Maggie Linton? Really? Maggie, you do all these things? Yes, she does. She's a superstar. So Maggie, I mean, I guess in closing, and I think I may have said in closing before, but I could have you, we could talk all night long. So I know that you want to just tell everybody what should we be doing on November 5th, Maggie?
Well, hopefully we're celebrating by November 5th. November 3rd, we got to vote. If you can go and vote. I just called up Facebook, and a wonderful friend of mine, Barbara Ham Lee, is smiling, and she has voted in the city of Norfolk. So she just voted because, in Virginia, there are about 5 or 6 states right now. Actually, Illinois just joined them yesterday, where you can vote early. If you have a chance to vote early and you're not sure about the mail is going to be fine, by the way.
Yes.
Then you need to get there and get going, because even with this early voting, many people are still finding themselves standing in line.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most powerful thing that you can do for your lives. That and the census.
Yes.
Folks, make sure you have filled out the census, because this current administration tried shutting it down early.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing against him, and it's just been a judge just extended till October. Come on, folks. This is for all the infrastructure in our lives, and that includes like libraries and hospitals and streets and how they're repaired and everything else, and education and schools and roads. It's everything that affects our lives for the next 10 years. A lot of those decisions are made by how the census turns out.
Yes. And your vote definitely counts. It counts.
Oh, yeah.
Many people say,
Yeah.
it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter if I vote. What difference does it make?
Oh,
It does
yes,
make
it does.
every difference in the world. My little one voted yesterday. Gianna is living out in Minnesota. So she's so
They
excited.
were one of the first states that started.
Yes, so she did. Newberry. So
And
she
also know
voted
what
yesterday.
you're voting for.
Yes,
Like
specifically.
here in Maryland, there's a Proposition 2 that they're asking people to vote yes for, and it's to legalize gambling in the state, so that that money will be earmarked to go to education.
Well,
Okay?
I don't think everybody knows that. I didn't know about that. Okay, so Proposition 2. For Prop 2,
this is in Maryland.
that's in where you
But
are.
know what
Okay.
your propositions are. Like out in California, one of the propositions that's up right now is to basically make, it's almost like unionizing, but it's not. Uber drivers and Lyft drivers, they continue to be independent contractors when they work for a company. You
Yes.
have to vote for this proposition that makes them part of a company. because healthcare, guaranteed rates, things like that, rather than being all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So,
You have to vote for that.
and read about it first. I mean, acknowledge, read.
And
Don't
read
just
about
don't
it.
just listen. Don't. It's not all about
Yeah.
hearsay. Do your due
Right.
diligence. Please look it up.
Learn.
Get it right. Exactly. Learn. Listen and learn.
Yeah.
Not from your next door neighbor. And I always use Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith is going to come after me one of these days. I don't just listen to Mrs. Smith. You know, do some reading. You know, listen to your. You know, read the paper.
Right.
The right paper.
Exactly.
And get that information.
And go and vote. You know, I mean,
Vote,
people
yes.
have sacrificed their lives for it. I still point to my friend Linda Blackman Lowry, who was the youngest person to walk from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, for voting rights. She was there on Bloody Sunday, wound up with 17 stitches at 14 years old. Do you realize, people, she was beaten?
Oh.
She was beaten. And she couldn't even vote, but so her dad could.
Oh my gosh! And is she still here?
Had 5
Is she
stitches
still?
in the front of the head, had a concussion.
Is she still with
You
us,
know.
Maggie?
Oh, yes, yes.
Well, she
Yeah.
was 14
and
at
still
the time.
lives in Selma, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, her book is called Turning 15 on the Road to Freedom.
Turning
and if you
15.
ever needed to know why you need to vote, read that book. It was written for middle school students, but it is a great book.
Are you still in touch with her?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she's Linda Blackman. What?
It's Linda, Lynda.
Linda Blackman.
Linda Blackman Lowry.
Lowry. Okay, so we got to pick up that book, folks.
Yeah. Turning 15 on the Road to Freedom.
Love it. Maggie, it has been such a pleasure and honor to have you on the Inventors Podcast. And you know we're going to do this again, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I can't wait to be on yours next month. When all the
I promise you will.
when all of the pictures are hung.
Yeah. But all the pictures, you know, it's funny because I really have to do it. You know, I
Sometimes.
have to get it done so I can get on with what I really want to do, which is talking to people. I just put up a picture of Lee Child the other day, and you know, I had a major response from it. And you know, I got Lee's number. I can call him up and say, "Hey, when the new movie comes out,
Yes,
Lee,
indeed.
can you be on?"
Yes, and I'm sure he'll say yes immediately.
Oh yeah.
Well, Maggie,
Yeah.
you need to get that. You know what? If you need whatever you need, whatever I can help you with, whether it's inspiration or whatever, we can get on a call and talk about it. Let's get that. Let's get your studio up and running because everybody misses your voice, Maggie. They miss the Maggie Linton's voice, the voice of just education, love, kindness, respect, motivation. You're all of those things, Maggie, and just keep on talking, girl.
Thank you.
Keep that voice
Thank
going.
you. I will. I can't not talk.
You know, and I love this. I love this. Well, Maggie, it's been
I don't know
awesome.
what to do if I have to talk.
Well, no, you have to keep. No, well, yeah, you just got to keep on talking. That's what you do, and you do it well.
Right.
You do it incredibly.
Right. Thank you.
Maggie, I can't wait to see you again, my sweetheart. I love you. Loves, kisses, and hugs. Big hugs. Can't wait to hug you in real life soon.
Same here.
And
Back at you.
all right, sweetheart. I love you. God bless you, and we will talk soon. Thanks for being on our show.
I love you too, and God bless you. And all you folks out there, go vote and do the census. Change your life.
Amen. That's right.
Bye.
Amen. Maggie, thank you, sweetheart. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
God bless you too. Bye-bye.
That was the voice of Maggie Linton. What? She rocks my world. I love Maggie Linton. We've been friends for many, many years. And for those of you who don't know her, please just look her up, call her, email her. Maggie Linton, her phone number is 301-346-0171. And you know what? To know her is to love her. What a history. So thank you all for listening once again. Thank you for coming back every week and just taking part in the Inventors podcast. If you want to find out how to be on my show, please email me. My email is info@inventingatoz.com. That's info@inventingatoz.com. You can call me too. We actually pick up the phone in my office. The phone number is 732-647-5433. You know, I say, please, every week I tell you guys, I ask you to continue lifting each other up, 2 hands at a time, and sometimes you just got to use your foot. Until next time, peace.